How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSI's NASCAR Cup Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I am your host, TK Nation 47, joined by Andrew Berry, Mega Roller 31. How are you doing this evening, Mega? And how are your races results today?
Truck I thought I had a really good lineup. It felt really solid. I didn't have any wrecks. I didn't um, have, I had the winner and some guys that did well placed differential wise, but it really helped me figure out my strategy for Xfinity because it seems like some of those punts in the back that I took to try to get other people in really didn't score enough points to actually cash and even a double up. So once Xfinity, I think I like 10x my money because we didn't have the winner, but we had Truex who moved up through the field. Even though Cendrick, a lot of people played him and he got in a wreck and moved towards the back, it was the other players in the lineup that really made the difference because they all were able to progress and have solid finishes and some place differential. And I think, that's going to kind of help with this cup construction.
Absolutely. Guy, big play from me today. Jeremy Clements really came through. He unfortunately was running inside the top five most of the day, but I also doubled up my money. So pretty happy with those results from today's races. But we'll get into some Atlanta for the Cup Series. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update. We are doing a coupon code for the month of March here at FSI. If you've been listening along, you've probably heard this jam before. You might know the code already. But if you are new to the videos, we are going to be giving you guys this coupon code later in the video. So keep listening and get that for 15% off any one purchase, except for the daily content and our NASCAR season long. So yeah, get that for VIP and join us in the Discord channel. You can find that on our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS. We have the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500, 325 laps, a 1.5-mile tire wear track. This is a really old abrasive track. The drivers love it. It brings out
No, they don't. They call it the cheese grater.
I was saying that sarcastically, but these guys absolutely hate the layer of the track, but they don't want it repaved. So I don't understand the meaning and logic behind it all. But yeah, we're gonna roll through this top 10 real quick because there's a lot of guys dangerous enough to dominate this race. And I'm wondering to myself, are we going to have multiple looks at a dominator, or is this going to be the field that Truex stomps? So we'll start it out with Hamlin and Truex and talk about them two. Who do you think is going to get off to a big lead? And do you think the Truex exposure on Xfinity is going to help him today in the Cup race?
Well, I want to put Truex in a drawer for a second here. Let's talk about the other top six. So,
Hamlin, all right, go ahead.
Definitely can get out and lead. He's been decent with tire wear tracks, been able to manage it, has enough experience on it. So, definitely I think he's going to have pretty high ownership, being right up there. People think that he's got the clean air. If he gets the right groove, he might just get out there and people, will be chasing him for a while. Logano, you starting third. He's probably the cheapest one out of the bunch at 94, but I think he's average to above average here. So, but I think he's more of a GPP play. Keselowski, he's won this twice, but in the two wins, he's like progressively gotten better throughout the race, and he hasn't like really got up front and just like turned lap after lap and dominated. He really likes the tire that's coming out that they're using for Goodyear at this track. He compares it to one that he's had in past seasons where he's had success here, so that might help him out. Chase Elliott, I think, has a championship hangover. It just doesn't seem like he's the same guy as last year. He's almost getting into the same conversation as Kyle Busch, where it just seems like, he just...
Is he bored?
I just don't know if it's in his head or if it's just bad luck. Of course, we're only like five races into this or so. So,
yeah,
we can't hit the panic button just yet. But
Right.
The talent's there, the car's there, the team's there. I think it will all come together. It could come together in this race, but I think there's other style tracks that would be better for him. He was, I believe, leading, was it maybe the spring race last year when he and Truex took each other out? So, he has shown that he can get up front, but that was his form last year. So he's kind of slow start this year. Maybe this kicks it off, but I'm not going to pay to find out. Kyle Larson, on the other hand, I think he is starting in 6th. There's a little bit of place differential. I could see him getting up there, leading. He did really well at Homestead, but some of the other races, I don't know if it's his fault or his crew's fault, but it just seems like their pit strategy and the alignment and stuff just hasn't worked out for them, whether they've been too slow getting them off or, he's just not pitting at the right times. What's going on there? They clear that up. I think he's definitely got a shot to win it. Now we come to Harvick. And the reason I wanted to say Truex is I feel I'm really at a crossroads here.
Yeah.
Because you have the two guys that are probably going to be the most popular. And it's like, I can't really decide. And, I think part of the best thing about like doing shows like this and helping people is like not claiming that we always know every single answer, but when you come to like something like this, like to talk it out and say, you know what, I really didn't know on this one, because you have two different styles here. You have Harvick, who has completely dominated at this track. He's got 7, 8, 9 years of data. They have missed a lot of the setups recently, but they have been so good here consistently that you got to think that they're going to get it right. And he's going to more than some of the other ones. And it's really going to be an advantage. He's the highest priced guy here. He's more than, you're paying what, $1,400 more for him than Truex.
Right.
Here's the other big difference between the two of them. And you said like Truex, we saw what happened at Xfinity. It's better competition. It's a different car. It's a different setup and stuff. But here is the biggest bottom line. And I'm sure if you've listened to other podcasts or like read other things on this race, it's going to come down to weather. And you could even see it in the Xfinity race. Why did Truex not win tonight? He got a penalty, so he had to go to the back of the line at a pit stop, and he started to progress. But what happened is it started to cool off. Truex is better when tracks are hot. It is Atlanta, but it is also March. So the track is not going to be super hot. It starts out at 317, which is kind of weird, like, why don't they just make it like tomorrow's 321? So why don't they start at 321 on 321? I don't get why would you start at 317, but anyway, regardless. So we're starting in the afternoon. So it will probably still be hot. I don't know. I didn't look at the weather forecast or what it's going to be, but it's a 500-mile race. So it's going to be a longer race. So it's probably going to be about 5 hours long, depending on cautions and stuff. So I think Truex can definitely get out and dominate early, but as it cools off, is he going to be able to run the way he wants to run? Will his car respond? And we were seeing it wasn't responding. He got up to like 3rd or 4th place. And then Noah Gragson, whose car was badly damaged, who by some miracle made it back up into the top 5.
Yeah, well, he was faster.
That thing was held together with bubble gum and duct tape and rubber bands, and he passes
them too.
He passes them, and it's like Truex just kind of hits the wall, and he makes his way up to 2nd, but he just couldn't catch the leader. Now, had that happened an hour earlier when the sun didn't go down, the track was hotter, I think he might have run down Allgaier and blown right by him. Harvick is the exact opposite. Harvick is a cold weather driver. And we have seen a lot of times where he's struggled at hot weather tracks, but I think it was like the Darlington.
Except Phoenix.
What's that?
Except Phoenix.
Yeah. And there have been times where there's been, as it's gotten into the night or if a race has been delayed and it goes into the evening, that his like talent has really manifested itself. So I'm really I love the savings on Truex. And again, if I don't play Truex, my daughter's probably going to disown me because it's her favorite driver. And I completely faded him last week and she was so mad. And then rose in my face all week that he won. So I definitely will have him in one line going
You
forward, no
have
matter
to.
what. But but anyways, it's a real dilemma because Harvick has the history, but he doesn't have the current form. Truex has the current form, but he's never won here. So
Yeah,
you guys need to decide what you want to do with this information. Maybe you
sure.
build two lineups, and I've done that before with cash. And I found a core of guys that I really like, and then I've just differentiated by one of these studs and built the rest of the line around it, and kind of split my cash. And usually it works out. You may not win 100%, but you're not going to lose 100%. So
Sure.
usually I end up maybe like a 60-70% profit margin instead of truly doubling or 2 or 3xing it.
Right, right. I think that's awesome analysis on Harvick, especially. Yeah, Rodney has, like you said, missed a ton of setups, and especially that race he was on the pole. But this is a bread and butter track. I think Harvick is better at Atlanta than any other track on the circuit, and I'm definitely playing him tomorrow in
Was
cash, in
this his
whatever.
first win when he was in the 29 car after Dale passed
Yeah,
away, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
So I think
And
it's
then he
got kind of special memories for him too.
it is his bread and butter. And I do love the current form on Truex, and I think he will be a big part of lineups. So that kind of leaves me in and out about Hamlin on the pole. I worry about what happened with Cendrick today. Cendrick usually dominates, and Denny Hamlin usually dominates. But if you don't get that pole sitter to lead, and you got 325 laps, if Denny Hamlin's not going to lead 100 of them, and he finishes like 10, his salary and his starting position ruins his price tag, and that's always the risk you take with an expensive pole sitter. So I'm going to be hopefully lower owned on Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin. I won't try to have as much exposure to them as I will probably Truex, Keselowski. I'm with you on this Chase foggy setup that he has. He might be bored, and he's maybe just going through the motions. And we'll see when Chase shows up, we'll all know it. And I'm going to keep rostering him, and I'm not going to be an idiot and totally fade him, and then he wins a race and it'll bankrupt me. But Kyle Larson, I think his style sets up really well for this race. He's just an awesome driver. Him and Keselowski have a lot of great speed going right now from track to track. I think their crew chiefs are really nailing their setups. So I think that I'm going to keep going with that, as a means to roster them. Larson had 46 fast laps last week. I think that's going to carry over, just his speed in general. You're right, though. The crew chief does kind of blow things up with his pitch strategy. I think he gets too cute. He just needs to let Larson drive the car, and I think they'll be fine. Obviously Harvick, we talked about it enough, but we got three guys here in the back end, all younger drivers. Bell, 7,800. He is the lowest salary in this top 10. Byron at 9K, Blaney at 9,200. Are these viable drivers, or are they fades for their starting position?
I really love Bell actually at 78. I think he's equivalent to Brown and Clemens and some of the guys that we took
Yeah,
in Xfinity in the top 10, same situation. These are guys that are in good cars. They're good drivers. Bell, I believe, won here in Xfinity like
he
once
did.
or
Yep,
twice. So
twice.
I think he can get up to the front. He actually is aggressive and can actually lead some laps. So the
Yeah,
one thing that scares me, and we talked about this pre-show, is I just have this bad feeling that tomorrow, like hour before the race, we get notification that one of the Gibbs cars failed inspection 3 times and has to go to the back of the field. So is it going to be Hamlin? Is it going to be Truex? Is it going to be Bell? Is it going to be Kyle Busch? I don't know, but I just feel it's coming. But
yes.
but anyways, I do like Bell. I like the pricing. I like the potential for him to. He should still finish in the top 10. I think his form's okay. Like he hasn't been like outstanding. He has been bad. So
Yeah,
obviously he's starting eighth, so he's been doing something good this season.
I think
Byron,
I was gonna say I think I'm out on Byron and maybe Blaney as well.
Blaney, I think is possible because we were talking about the weather. and he's really done well on high grip tracks, like I think like Texas and
Yeah,
places like that. He's really
yeah.
dominated. But when the track's cooler, it gives it a little bit more grip. So I think there's a little bit of place differential there. There's also a little bit of a discount because he's about
Is it a
10,000 or
discount though? In
92.
92? I
If
mean,
you
if
but you're
for
looking at all the other guys that are
I'm just thinking about like Bowman, who's starting back farther. Cendrick, that we haven't talked to. Like, there's some guys in this 8K range that are going to be starting further back that could probably do just as much place differential for Blaney. And if Blaney's not going to win, I just see
but I don't
myself.
think you need the win though. I think Blaney's one that likes to get up there and actually lead races. Like not everybody
Yeah,
wants to lead. Some of them are
yeah,
happy being in like the top five and they'll just kind of hang back and then try to make the move at the end. But Blaney's one
sure.
like put me in those, put me in coach. I want
Yeah, he's very
to
aggressive.
infinity and beyond.
And he just called both races today, so he does have a good look about how these cars have managed in this on this track for he watched it for 6 hours on different strategies and things like that that drivers took today. So maybe it's Byron I'm going to be out on, and I'll have some Blaney, and hopefully Christopher Bell does pass inspection because I do like the price tag as well.
Yeah, Byron, I like. He seems to always have the speed and stuff.
He
I know
does,
he's
yeah.
he's struggled a little bit in the last couple ones.
You can't
One of
play
the
everyone though.
yeah, true. And Hendrick's cars have been okay here, but I don't think there's really a dominating team for
Sure,
here. So um
except Harvick.
yeah. So the top 10 plus one, like Kurt Busch at 83, I really like his price there. And I think people are
Yeah,
gonna look
83
at
is
him
nice.
and be like, you know what, he's starting way too far forward. He doesn't really, but I think he's someone that you can put in your cash lineup at 83 if you're going with a balance build, and he can. We talk about this a lot in the last two series, like finish where he started, or
Sure.
or hold the line. And I trust him a lot better than some other people that are in that price range or a little bit below.
Yeah, the price tag is what's really taken our eye, is that 8,300 for a driver with his experience, his consistency. I think that's a solid value. But okay, outside of our top 10 here, we got some GPP plays. Now, starting position has a lot to do with how you're finishing in these races, and we got a couple guys that have been finishing poorly in races, but they do have fast cars. Like, we'll just go into it. Kyle Busch at 10,700, starting 18th. He did win the Truck Series race. He's got speed at Atlanta over the course of his tenure, and I think he's won this race before. Um, I think this is the first time, and we had talked about it, that we both feel pretty confident in Kyle Busch and that we're not scared to roster that high price tag.
Yeah, like I've said all year long, and even most of last year, because GPP, and the problem with Kyle is that he needs practice to be good. Like
Yeah, and he got it.
he was like the conductor of a symphony, because he'd go out there and he would go through practice and the qualifying and everything back pre-COVID, and he would be able to work with his team, and that car would be so dialed in that
Yep.
it'd be just running on a rail. But he lacks that now. However, he did run the truck race, different
Yep.
equipment, but it does help him feel the track. And you
Sure.
see people that have gone out there and run in another series, when they get up into the Cup Series, they've have practice. So he's got 130 laps of practice essentially. The other thing too
Yeah.
is it's a long race, so it's not like one of the shorter races. Or it's a 500 mile, or I don't know, kilometer or whatever. It's weird how they
500 miles. Yeah.
okay, perfect. So that's even longer. So I think he's going to have time throughout this race too, if he keeps it clean and doesn't get too
Yeah.
aggressive and make any mistakes, that he can work with his crew to get it dialed in. And you might see him like progressively every single stage get better and better and better, and then like by a third stage, you're like, wow, he's in the top three. Where did he come from? And might
Yeah.
be challenging for the lead and a final restart.
Yep. I feel confident in Kyle Busch as well. But that'll probably do us for this 9K, 10K range. Let's get into some, values, some GPP plays for some salary savings. What do you like? Or you know what? Let's just talk about we got to talk about the free square of the week.
Yep.
let's get that into this video.
There's no NASCAR race on Easter, so this is our early Easter present.
Yeah. All right. So we have Austin Cendrick starting in 39th position at 8,600. He's driving for Penske in the 33.
Very good.
Yeah. All right. I'm on it. Yeah. So Austin Cendrick, that's an auto play, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And then I mean, there's no more analysis needed. He's got great equipment. He's going to pass all of those, punts in front of him. And he's going to pass probably more than half of the drivers starting in the 20s.
You got to lock him in with at least 10 place differential points, because Timmy Hill, Boyke, Gase, Huff, Davidson, Ware,
all of them,
McLeod, LaJoy, and then probably Daniel Suarez is going to fall back.
I mean, I do like Suarez a little bit at 6,500, starting 25th. Trackhouse seems to have some decent speed, and Suarez, didn't he do pretty well at Homestead? He shocked us that day, I thought. You have that in front of you? I don't know. I thought he did pretty well I think
he was
Miami.
27th. So.
Oh, really?
That was his average running position. I don't know. He's just a fade for me. There's certain people here that I think like people are going to see like name recognition, like Eric Jones and Suarez and even Austin Dillon starting 13th. For me, they're fades. They're just not in good position. Even some like friends of the show and like darlings that we've liked, like Busher and DiBenedetto, Custers.
I don't mind DiBenedetto. I don't like the 8,100 price.
Yeah, and that's the thing, starting 20th.
Yeah,
it's just even Mike McDowell still. I think this is the week where
we need that one bad wreck out early, finish 38.
Because the next week is the dirt track, and I think that's going to push him down even further. But when we come back after Easter break, I think I don't know if that's Talladega or if there's a race before then, Martinsville maybe.
Martinsville, I think.
All right, it doesn't matter. But once we get to that race, that is the race where he's going to be starting like 24th, and he's going to be priced at like 6,000, and we're going to be lock.
Yep. It's all for it's. Our plan since he won
a little bit longer.
Yeah,
we're not there yet.
Our plan's almost coming into effect. Where we've been sitting on this since Daytona, the Michael McDowell train that he's going to be doing for value for us over the course of the season.
Which is perfect because he's a plate track guy, and it'll be about Talladega where he falls right into the sweet spot, and we'll bam.
Exactly. I'm ready to make money that day. But we have this issue going on with Stewart-Haas Racing. Are you feeling confident in drivers like Tyler Reddick, Cole Custer, Chase Briscoe? Are these guys you're feeling? I'm starting to hate. I'm starting to hate them.
They don't have any speed, and
none at all.
And I've heard some commentary on different areas and stuff too, that like, what's this team's focus? Are they trying to go out and win races this year? Are they just going through the motions because we're getting a completely different system and car next year?
Yeah, we are.
I don't know if they're bringing practice back or like what's going to happen in the future. A lot of teams took a huge hit last year because of COVID and everything going on. And sometimes it just seems like, and through all three of the series, that people are just kind of going through the motions. Let's just get through this year. And we kind of talked about it in like the truck series where you had like Jennifer Joe Cobb and like Norm Betting, who would at least be semi-competitive, like can't even get enough speed to stay on the lead lap. So I'm not saying that these cars by any means are that bad, but it really doesn't seem like there's a huge like push to try to go out there and win races and contend for titles. I think it's like, let's get through this year and let's put all our efforts into next year, and then everybody else will be ahead of them.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. You had called that last week, and it was a good call. I'm going to be finding myself excluding a lot of value and just switching up the top 10 here with in and out of lineup constructions and stuff. Lock button on Cendrick, going to have a little bit more exposure to Harvick than then I hope the field and just kind of really zero in on guys. I don't mind Reddick a little bit, but there seems to be a perfect storm that we didn't know would exist this week. And do you know where I'm going with this?
No idea.
So we have a value play, a driver that is very experienced on this track, and he does really well on high tire wear tracks. He's starting 28th, and he's only 7,100. Ryan Newman.
Yes.
I have not played Ryan Newman for what seems like a few weeks, and I think I'm jumping on this week. So that means he's out in lap 5.
No, I no, he's
That's not
I
his
think
style. Yeah.
no, he's solid, and
Yeah.
I think if you just purely look at the cars in front of him, like we talked about, like Michael McDowell's probably moving backwards. You have Chastain, who's always wild card, Jones, who's got questionable equipment, Priest, who might be able to hold the line. He's been doing it good, but I think he's punching above his weight class. You have Briscoe and Haley as rookies, and Suarez and Custer who have struggled. Right there is 10 spots that he easily could move up. And if you look
17,
at
that's where we want him. Yeah.
Cendrick is the only one behind him that could potentially get ahead of him.
I agree.
Based on like skill or car. So I think he is in a sweet spot. I think you nailed it. I think it's a great play.
Yep. I'm going to be very heavy on Cendrick, Newman, and then maybe poke at guys like Chastain and maybe Jones. Maybe there's some speed there for those race teams. I know Chastain raced the trucks. He was running inside the top 5, and then I think he had some issues with the track cooling down, or not cooling down. I think he had like a tire go down or something like that, and he kind of just threw his truck off. But he was really running well. I think he's a decent play. Definitely not a guy I would play in cash though. You never play Ross Chastain in cash. Those are rules.
Unless he's in the truck race and he's starting 40th.
Exactly. That's it. We have rules to follow here. But at this point in time, I just wanted to give everybody this coupon code for the month of March. You heard me allude to it in the big top of the show. I'm going to give you that code. That code word is YouTube March. 50% off for any one purchase except for the daily content and the NASCAR season long. Code word YouTube March, all one word. Sign up on our website at FSI DFS for 15% off. All right, let's get back to it. Values, GBP plays. Anything else before we get to punts?
No, like I said, like the ones I'm concerned about are like Stenhouse, Dillon, Busher, McDowell, DiBenedetto's okay.
This Stenhouse guy is gonna. This has got to be the week, right? This is the 30. He's finishing 39th this week. This has got to be the solo crash that he takes himself out, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Stenhouse is this cheap. He's an auto for top 15 every week." And then
like at
boom,
39, 63, like they are just DK's just like play him.
Yeah, they know Ricky Stenhouse is due for one of those weeks where
like hypnotizing you. You want Ricky Stenhouse 60
lap 10, spin out and into the wall, 39th. See ya, pack up the hauler and go. He's
gonna take like Quinn Hoff out with him. This would be like some random guy in the back.
Someone, right?
They can't stop fast enough to.
Yeah, it's coming. I'm avoiding Ricky Stenhouse tomorrow, so he's gonna hopefully wreck out early. All right, but let's get into punts. Is there anything in the back?
Maybe not
hard.
It's hard. Like Eric Almirola, I think he's starting 16th. 8K is a little high, but I think if you want to go with a balanced like GPP lineup, that he definitely could probably get up into the top 10. So there's a little bit of place differential there. Briscoe, I don't completely hate. I know he's a rookie, but he's run well here in other series. Haley did well in Xfinity. Again, it's completely different equipment. It's a different team. It's not as good as a program or a car that he runs there, but he at least spent like 163 laps running the race and finished in the top 5 and like really didn't get in much trouble. He was actually close to getting up to the lead.
I'm going to keep playing him. I'm going to keep playing him.
And at 56, like if you're trying to play a lineup, if you can't decide between Harvick and Truex and you want to play both of them, then you got to play him. And the other one
Yeah.
is Flying Pasta, Alfredo. He's had a
Yeah.
bad start to the season, but it hasn't been his fault. Cody Ware ran him into the wall, and he was taken out in the first Daytona major crash, like three
Sure.
laps into it. Wasn't his fault. It just had some bad luck. Now, granted, he's starting in the back among all these flying jalopies that they're like, see, this is what happens with Noah Grayson's car after he wrecks in his Xfinity. They give it to James Davison and Quinn Huff and Joey Gase, and then they race it on. They put like some new paint on and race it on Sunday. But seriously, like these cars, he's in a pack of cars. But if he can use his talent and his car is decent to get
Front
up
row.
into like the 20s and away from this area, then you definitely think he's got. It's the same thing as Newman and Reddick. Like he's the one that there's nobody behind him that should be getting in front of him besides Cendrick. And
Right.
if he can hold the line and get up a little bit, it opens up for you to get 2 or 3 guys in.
Yeah, I agree. He's cheap enough starting further back. I like it, but that should wrap things up. I believe. I think we went through just about everything we needed to. We listed some fades. We had our GBP plays, values, punts, and we rolled through the top 10. So thank you guys for listening. Please like the video, comment below, and join us in the Discord for core plays, projections, and anything you need, questions leading up to the race, this or that kind of things, and you're unsure, just comment below or join us in the Discord. You can find that link on our Twitter handle at FSIDFS. All right, guys, thank you. Mega, good luck tomorrow. It's going to be a fun build, and looking forward to another fun race.
Yeah, I really appreciate the people watching this, and I appreciated that Nate on Twitter and Ace Moneymaker and the Discord were so concerned about our well-being because the video didn't post the time it usually did, that they're reaching out to us to make sure we were okay. So thanks guys, we really appreciate it. We're doing well, and hopefully you enjoyed this and watched the video to this point to get your shout out.
Yeah, hopefully they did. I don't know whose fault that was. But yeah, thanks guys, and looking forward to the race. All right, take care.
Peace.